Should I have my charger?
Oh, maybe.
We're late.
Yes.
No one cares.
We're late for a very important date.
No one cares.
We're live.
But maybe someone cares.
I don't know why the orientation is this way.
Well, that's just what it will. Oops, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Is it clean? The thing? Oh, it's already live.
Yeah, this one's already live.
Okay.
So we're just like, hello, we're here.
Oh, man.
I don't know why it's this way.
Hello. Welcome to Paradise Downloads, the special edition.
Yes, we're together in Miami. I'm so excited to be here with Sonia, and we're not sure what we're talking about, but we're gonna share with you a little bit about freedom and a little bit about like the stories that our mind plays on, or the stories that our mind creates. It's like the games our mind plays on us, and doing like what we want all the time, and not doing anything that isn't a 10.
Right.
So, hi you
So,
guys.
Hello.
Welcome.
If you want to share what freedom means to you, feel free to share, and then maybe we can also share.
Yeah, share in the comments. We're on YouTube here and on Instagram here, so if we're like looking around, that's what's happening.
Yes, welcome. So, Kate, what does freedom mean to you?
For me, freedom is like a feeling of being able to like just be 100% my authentic self, to just be able to feel whatever like feelings or emotions or like ideas are coming up, and like not judge them or make them wrong. And also just like the impulses, like if I impulsively want to do something, just not feeling like this constriction, like, oh, but I can't do that, but that's not responsible. Just being able to like go and like do it, like do the thing.
Yeah.
So that would be freedom for me.
Love that.
What is freedom?
By the way, Kate got me a flower. She's really into
like I have flowers on each side.
Yeah, no, I mean it's similar. Freedom and true happiness is being able to experience anything internally and externally, meaning, thoughts, emotions, sensations, without judging them as bad or wrong. So, yeah, recognizing that a thought may be a voice that says something, right? Like it just appears, or a character that says something internally. Maybe like, I love this or I hate this, whatever it says. Usually a lot of it is judgment, or it can be, a thought can be a photo or a video, right, of some scenario. And then, so that's really, or mostly the options that thoughts, or the forms that thoughts take. And then in terms of an emotion, kind of putting away the name of the emotion, whether it's anger or sadness, and the judgment, usually that it's bad, right? Because, when we feel angry or sad, usually it's like, how can I get rid of this? How can I stop this? It's bad. Yeah. But if you really close your eyes and tune into like what's actually happening, if it's sadness, it's probably like energy is moving slowly and it's heavy. If it's anger, it's probably faster, and so it's really experiencing these emotions as movements of energy, energy moving in a unique way. So experiencing that pure raw experience, instead of the story that the mind makes up about it, that it's that's bad, how can I get rid of it? And same with sensations, like again, I've talked about being tired, how that used to be a really, hi Alina, really big.
What does freedom mean to you, Alina?
Yes, tell us. I know Alina's really into EFT tapping, and she has a wonderful membership. So yeah, we're talking about freedom. So with sensations, even like I used to really judge myself when I experienced this tired sensation, and that's also usually slow and heavy. But then, like when I actually close my eyes and I'm like, is this really bad, or is this just energy moving slowly and it feels heavy? Like there's no problem with it. Um, so anyway, so being able to be in a truthful relationship with all these appearances, thoughts, feelings, sensations, because that's what, I was talking to Kate before, and in Kundalini Yoga, we have this mantra, Sat Nam, or it can be used as a greeting, and it means I am truth, or truth is my identity. So meaning like we're not our thoughts, we're not our bodies, we're not our emotions. Those are just appearances. Like what we are is truth. It's something that perceives or experiences all these, like that hears the voice that says something, that sees the photo or the video, that feels the energy moving, but we're not that thought, emotion, sensation. So Alina says, doing what I want when I want. Yes, that's what we're about.
Yes, yes, yes.
And Alina's a generator in human design, so it's all about doing what lights you up and what your sacral is excited about. And we're both sacral authority manifesting generators, so yes.
Yeah, I definitely think that our society is trying to take away so much of our freedom, like from every direction. And it happens like since we're little kids, since we go to school, like we're not allowed, like we have to ask to go to the bathroom. We have to we have a lot of rules that we have to follow. We're not taught to live like a free life, and we're not taught to honor like how we're actually feeling. We're just taught to change it or to judge, like you were saying, like certain thoughts are better than others, certain emotions are better than others. And it's actually like a way for us to be easier to control, and like something that I feel is really powerful when you think about like freedom is the idea that like all this pressure like to do something a certain way so that you follow the rules like kind of melts away, and you're just like, well, that's like, I don't care about those rules, that doesn't apply to me, it's not that important in the grand scheme of things, because what's most important is me being able to be, like you were saying, having a truthful relationship with myself and with my emotions and with my experiences. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a really kind of like an external way of looking at like freedom versus like control, and how that plays out in everybody's life,
Yeah, we were talking before this live about this idea of really living from your authentic essence without the fear of like negative consequences or being punished. Like a lot of us feel like if we're not, again we were talking about, if we're not responsible, then there will be negative consequences, or if we don't again follow certain rules that we have to kind of pretend to be someone we're not, otherwise there will be repercussions. So and I love, and I wish that in our childhood we were all validated in our emotions and all emotions were okay. Most of us didn't have those types of childhoods, but hopefully that's changing now with it being okay for kids to experience all their emotions without parents telling them it's bad. It's but we get to heal that and help others kind of not run away, and it's not easy work, because we want to run away. There are so many ways we can escape our uncomfortable emotions, whether it's alcohol or just
addictions, like all the apps on your phone, all the screen time, all the just making yourself busy even as a distraction. People can even distract themselves with things that aren't that bad, like working out all the time or working all the time, being super productive, and everyone's rewarding them for it, but deep down they're not even tuning in to what's really true for them.
Yeah, We got a thumbs up from somewhere.
Oh, thank you. I don't have a bubble thumbs up.
Yeah, and I think that idea is really important. Well, not idea. The idea is not important. The experience of it is important. That's what we're all about. Not ideas and concepts, but really experiencing your life that way. That, you're really tuned into, okay, what is it I really need? Because I realized I was like, because of my, I guess, wounding, I was so tuned into like what was going on around me, what everyone else wanted, um, and just like was not at home with myself. And it's like, okay, what do I really need right now? And it's still sometimes a challenge to like really put, my needs first, because there's so much conditioning of make sure everyone's happy and do it, be kind of, whether it's an employee or an easy employee, be a good employee, be a good daughter, be a good, whatever, girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, and so much guilt and shame comes from that, because when we feel like we're not being good or we're not doing the right thing, like we really experience this like really, yeah, just shameful and so like self-deprecating, I guess I want to say, like self-talk and just these really heavy emotions. And then a lot of times what will happen is like I'll just speak for myself. A lot of times what will happen for me is like I will push down those like shame feelings or those guilty feelings, because I'll be like, I just want to like be like high vibe and positive and like focus on good emotions. But like in that, I'm actually like suppressing my own freedom, because I'm not being authentic to what's like truly coming up for me. I'm not allowing space for those emotions to be like just have a space to pop up. And that doesn't have to be me. Like I don't have to be that guilty person. Like I don't have to identify with what's right and wrong and all this stuff. But me avoiding those feelings and avoiding the whole topic and distracting myself is actually creating like more pain and more disconnection, and I feel more disconnected from my truth and I feel less free. Right. And so actually like the uncomfortable practice of holding space for these more difficult feelings, or these feelings that have been judged or shamed over, with our families, or like even like, if you're crying, what do people say? Like, don't cry, like cheer up, everything's gonna be okay. Like immediately they just want you to stop crying. So it's like we're just trained our whole life, like there are certain emotions you do not want to feel, you do not want to express. And so because of that, they're so pent up inside of us that when we do feel them or express them, it just becomes like, can become overwhelming. We can go on like this downward spiral. We can just feel like, oh my gosh, like I have so much more coming out. Like I remember this one time I had a horse that passed away, and like, I don't know, it just triggered like the death of like every animal I've ever had. Like it re-triggered like another healing process around my father passing. Like it was like any loss, and it even things like opportunities that were lost. We sold our house that I grew up in, like moving from, like I wasn't even living in the house, but just the fact that it was sold, like all these things, I became so emotional about like everything. But it was like, that was like the trigger. It was kind of like I'd been putting a cork on it, and then I like pulled the cork off, and then like all the emotions came out. And so for me, after like having these experiences like this, like a couple of them, part of what freedom means for me is like being able to be free to just like, when I feel that shame or that guilt or that sadness, just like express it, just like fully embody it, let my day be like in this dark place, and let myself be present with that, so that I can like fully be on this human journey, like this human experience, like not pushing it down and hiding it and pretending like everything's okay
Yeah.
all the time.
Well, and that's, a lot with other people too. Not that we have to, just constantly kind of share that what we're going through, or kind of but for me it was a lot about like hiding when I don't feel good. Like I can't be around people because I don't want to like be a burden, or I don't want to bring people down, or that I don't want to bother people with my but it's like, so a lot of my work has been around, you know, being okay, being not okay around others, and feeling safe to, you know, and that's why I think like it was so draining for me to sometimes be around people, because I thought I had to like pretend that I have it all together, and you know, especially as a coach too, you know, because sometimes you go to networking events and you want to present.
Who's gonna hire me if I'm not like perfect?
Right, exactly. That's
It's like very performative.
right. But I've seen that whenever I was really vulnerable, usually people responded really well to that, and yeah, so I don't think there were like negative consequences to that, but in my head I was like, and I think when you're trying to perform and trying to like present yourself in a certain way, it just doesn't really come off as authentic, and people don't really resonate with it. Um, so yeah, but I think especially for like coaches and healers, we have to feel like, you know, we're the always the light, and you know, we're here to help others. So you know, we better have our shit together. But we're all human, and that was, you know, that's it's been for me challenging to sometimes accept that, because of all that pressure of being perfect and showing up a certain way always.
And there's been really, I really think like we're moving into like a new era of like, you know, maybe coaching or mentorship or just like the human, like spirituality, I don't know what to call it, but like there seems to be like the whole idea, this idea that coaches used to sell, that was like, if you do these 5 steps, then your life becomes like magical and like everything's flowing and you're just full of inspiration and energy. And like some of the claims were just like really out there. And some of the books I've read, some of the, you know, coaching packages or programs or workshops I've been to, they're just like really saying like a lot is going to come from this experience. And I think like we're at this time where it's like people are kind of like calling bullshit a little bit. They're like, no, like even the most, I remember one of the first like coaching programs I ever did was called The Feminine Art of Manifesting by Gina DeVee and Rose Cole. If you guys know, they're like old school coaches. And then it came out, one of the big topics of this whole program was how Rose Cole manifested her husband and how he was like this amazing guy and everything was so magical and perfect. Come to find out, like 2 or 3 years later, he was like cheating on her. She caught him like, you know, all these emails, all these like porn sites. He was like talking to like 5 different women, like going on dates with other women, like really bad, like really, really bad. Not her soulmate, you know, they got divorced. So it made me realize like, wait a minute, but I was really looking up to her as this magical woman that was like manifesting her dream life. And then no, but that's an illusion. It's not real. So I feel like we're at this phase where people are like, you know, the idea, I can really relate to like toxic positivity, or, you know, just selling like kind of like this idea that your life's going to be like perfect somehow, or you're going to like get over all your traumas and nothing's ever going to like trigger you again. And it's just not the reality. Like we're all humans, and yes, of course we can like have amazing lives. Like Sonia and I both live amazing lives. Like she's here in Miami Beach. It's gorgeous. This is like one of the most beautiful places to live on the planet, in my opinion. And just like such an amazing culture here. Like the ocean is beautiful, like everything. And she lives like really close to the beach. It's awesome. Like I'm traveling to only like beautiful tropical destinations. My life is pure magic. But it doesn't matter how your life looks on the outside. We're all going to go through the human experience, and there's going to be the full range of emotions, and that's like okay. And we get to like have all those experience, all those ups and downs, and like you know, like seasons, you know. And that's we don't have to be like on this high all the time. It's just that's not what freedom actually is, you know.
Yeah, no, and I think this hierarchy in coaching, that like I have it figured out and you don't, like that's disappearing. And it's more of like, okay, you know, if you want to bring more awareness to your life, You know, it just helps having someone who believes in you, who, yeah, maybe, you know, has done a little bit more work because that's their, you know, their business and their
Passion.
passion, and their, you know, they've put a lot of effort in there, so they do have a lot of experience. But there's no like hierarchy that, you know, I have it figured out and you don't, because, you know, none of us have all of the areas of our lives figured out. And there's just, you know, there's no technique, there's no magic formula that works for everyone. And there's no like endpoint that like, okay, now I've achieved and it's always gonna, you know, like even with
Smooth sailing from here.
right, yeah, like I found that relationship and now it's, you know, or I got my body to the place where, and then I'll never have problems with my body or like body image issues. So that's unrealistic. And so but but yeah, so letting go of all those old um kind of
constructs.
right. So
Or yeah, hierarchies. Yeah, I
right.
really don't like the hierarchy in the coaching world, and I believe like it's so important to have support, and we shouldn't do things alone, and like that's the beauty of like mentorship and coaching and group coaching and programs and all that stuff, and to also find like-minded people. I know like to when I join like a program or a course and there's like other people in it and we're all like on similar paths, like it's really amazing to like meet your tribe. And it's really amazing to meet someone that inspires you, that's doing that something that you've always wanted to do, and you know that just being in their vibration, you're gonna learn from them. Like there was a coach that I was with that was doing retreats, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to do retreats, and so I coached with her and I went to one of her retreats, and I just was like, I don't even know like specifically what she's coaching me on. I just want to be around her and in her energy because I love what she's doing and I want to do something similar. And then like within actually very shortly after, I actually had my first like Tate in Paradise retreat, like right after my retreat with her, when I just like did it. And I was like, oh my God, people actually signed up and came. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. It was just like a weekend retreat. But then I started doing like more different types of retreats. Like me and Sonia did like little mini 1-day retreats. Like, and so I just like got my feet wet and started doing more of that type of thing. But part of it was just being in her presence, you know, like being around someone else who had already done it and being in her vibration.
Yeah.
Which I think is super valuable. And I don't think she had like everything figured out, or nor was she claiming that, but it was a great investment for me, you know, because it got me to a desire that I was feeling in my heart. Like I wanted to have this experience, like I could feel it, you know, and so that was like part of my natural journey.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I think it's so valuable. I mean, I did coaching with Kate at a time when yeah, I was going through some challenging things actually before I came to Miami. Was trying to decide what to do with my life and where to go, and kind of to commit to the coaching thing full time. So you know, and just having that support, and just, yeah, someone believing in you, believing that it's possible for you.
Because you were like, I want to live by the beach and be somewhere sunny, and I want to go to the beach every day. I was like, you can do it. I believe in you.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, Kate,
I do it.
We've known each other for a while, and you know, she knew me when I was in my corporate job, and she's like, you know, you can do your business, and I was like, no, that's not possible. But she held that vision, and that was super valuable for me. So definitely. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. What else I was gonna say, but but yeah, having someone to support you and believe in you, super important. So yeah, what else? I think we're, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say.
That's all you wanted to share. Yes, well, I'm just excited to be here in Miami with Sonia for tonight. And yes, I don't know. I have a dream of doing a podcast with Sonia.
Yes, we're gonna make it happen, and yeah, and then so anything you're kind of doing with your clients that you want to talk about?
Right now I have the Paradise membership. We meet every Wednesday on Zoom, and we do like a guided like movement and meditation practice, and like heal our nervous system and tap into our subconscious and tap into our desires, and then we just cover different topics. And I'm bringing some guest speakers. Maybe you want to do something. We can talk about it. I'm bringing different guests. So in February, I'm collaborating with Sonia, collaborating with Sophia Wren, and we're doing one about being your own best friend, self-love, and also like some of the shame and guilt and different emotions that come up. When we think about self-love, sometimes like all of the self-judgments and like how to like be present and move through some of those emotions so that you can like really like put yourself first and be an advocate for yourself and not do like exactly what you were saying, like just like people pleasing all the time, just be aware of like what is true for you. So that's gonna be really fun. And then I'm looking forward to other collaborations. So I'm gonna have lots of guest speakers on the Paradise membership. So if you're interested, you can go to kateparadise.com/membership.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to be a guest.
Yes.
And right now I'm working with people one-on-one. So if you're interested, I have a 20-minute complimentary consultation, and I work with people mostly long-term. So after the 20-minute, if you want to continue working with me, you can either obviously sign up for 3 or 6 months. We do a weekly Zoom call. And you get the option to have voice messaging support in between sessions, so that's available. And I do believe in long-term mentorship because, one session can be powerful, but it's really, I believe, the relationship that we develop and the trust that we develop inside the relationship between us. So that's what creates the healing. And helps you kind of live with more intention, with more awareness, more freedom. So but I also have like a 90-minute life transformation session where we go deep and you really get to experience what it's like to work with me long term. So right now I'm focused on my one-on-one mentorship, which I love. I've done some group stuff and it can be fun, but I really like the intimacy of that and just, again, watching someone over the long term, because each week we can go deeper and like another layer of, limiting beliefs comes up or anything that's kind of blocking you. And we can work with subconscious reprogramming to kind of transform that and kind of let go of whatever's holding you back.
And like talking about like it being your passion, I feel like self-development and like healing and like spirituality like are your passion. Like you, more than anyone that I know, like have been done like every kind of certification or like constantly reading, constantly like doing your own inner work and like really committed to your spiritual practice. And I feel like you're really like walking the walk and you're really like embodying like everything that you teach and everything that you are passionate about. And ever since I've known you and even before I knew you. So
that's true. I'm either, all in or not at all. So I'm all in. I don't do things like half-ass, basically. So when I commit to, to coaching with someone, it's like, you
guys are going deep.
Right. And that's why I also that's why I offer the complimentary consultation, because I want to make sure that I'm working with people who are ready for it. And this work is not for everyone,
Yeah.
It goes deep. It will make you question things that you've believed your whole life. And that's really the point. It's like shaking you up and kind of allowing anything that's inauthentic to fall off, like the kind of identity or the mask you've adopted to kind of keep yourself safe, or we kind of slowly and gently remove that so that you can really be living from your authentic essence. So yeah, it's fun work, but it's not easy work, and that's why it's not for everyone. And if I'm not the person who promises. I mean, it can happen. Like, I've had clients who, like, one client whose panic attacks disappeared in one session, or, you know, they've healed their acne or allergies, or started losing weight finally. So those things can happen, these kind of miraculous things. But usually it's, you know, for other things that maybe you have more layers of conditioning or programming, it just takes a while to and you know, it's like the work is never done. We're never like, oh, our fully healed selves, and now I'm done. And you know,
Yeah.
that's not what the human story is about, or the human experience is about.
There's always more.
Or like in a good book or movie, there's always something going on. Like, it would be, you know, we would stop watching or reading if there wasn't something keeping our attention. So
Yeah, and I think the most powerful thing is just to fall in love with self study and fall in love with the human experience, and then you can grow and move through whatever obstacles or amazing things are in front of you just with more ease and more flow. And that's ultimately freedom.
yeah, yeah, not knowing that no experience is really good or bad, you know, and it's just what's happening, and if it's happening, it's somehow contributing to your story, and sometimes it can definitely be hard to experience that because, you know, we're so used to labeling good, bad, splitting things, judging things. That's what the mind does really well, you know, and it's designed that way for a reason. But you know, when we can, yeah, experience or embrace all experiences, all emotions, then we're free, because, you know, like, yeah.
Yes, so
So,
come join us in paradise.
yes.
Message Sonia or message me if you're interested in learning more about what we offer. We love you. We see you shining.
Bye.